Boney M was one of the most iconic disco groups of the 70s, known for their infectious hits like Rasputin and Daddy Cool. But behind the catchy tunes, flashy costumes, and massive success lies one of the biggest hoaxes in music history, an elaborate facade that stunned the music world when the truth was finally revealed. Was there more to Boney M than meets the eye? Let's find out. How it all started. Boney M is a Euro-Caribbean vocal group that gained immense popularity in the late 70s and early 80s. The group is best known for its infectious blend of disco, reggae, R&B, and funk, and it played a significant role in shaping the sound and culture of the disco era. The group was formed by German record producer Frank Farian, who not only conceptualized the group, but also served as the main songwriter and creative force behind its success. The origins of Boney M trace back to 1974, when Frank Farian, a German singer and songwriter, recorded a dance track titled "Baby Do You Wanna Bump." This song was a pivotal moment, laying the foundation for what would become Boney M's signature style. Farian performed both the deep voice delivering the iconic line, "Do you want to wanna bump?" and the high falsetto chorus. The track was released in early 1975 under the pseudonym Boney M, a name Farian invented after watching the Australian television series Boney, which centered on a detective character named Napoleon Bonaparte. Farian found the name Boney catchy and memorable, deciding to adopt it for his new musical project. While "Baby Do You Wanna Bump" gained moderate success in nightclubs, Boney M was still just a concept without an actual group behind it. Recognizing the potential for a performing act, Farian began searching for suitable singers and dancers to bring Boney M to life. The original lineup of Boney M consisted of 4 members, Liz Mitchell and Marsha Barrett, both hailing from Jamaica, Maisie Williams from Montserrat, and Bobby Farrell from Aruba. Mitchell and Barrett took on the role of lead vocalists, while Williams and Farrell contributed primarily as dancers and stage performers. Bobby Farrell, in particular, became famous for his flamboyant stage presence and energetic dance routines, which became a defining feature of the group's live performances. The newly assembled group initially struggled to gain traction, but everything changed in 1976 with the release of their single, Daddy Cool. The group albums. Boney M's debut album, Take the Heat Off Me, released in 1976, marked the beginning of the group's rise to international fame. The album featured a mix of new tracks and songs that had been previously recorded by other Farian-produced acts. Among these was the title track, Take the Heat Off Me and Lovin' or Leavin', which had originally been recorded in German by Gilla, a female singer who was part of Farian's earlier projects. The album was a product of meticulous planning by Farian, who carefully crafted the sound that would define Boney M, using a blend of vocals from Liz Mitchell, Marsha Barrett, and his studio-enhanced voice. Farian's decision to rely heavily on the vocal contributions of Mitchell and Barrett stemmed from practical considerations. Although the group's official members included Maisie Williams and Bobby Farrell, Farian did not believe their voices were suitable for recording purposes. Maisie Williams, while possessing a strong visual presence, was not featured on the album's tracks, because Farian felt her voice did not meet his standards for the polished sound he envisioned. Similarly, a trial recording of Bobby Farrell singing a rendition of No Woman, No Cry, failed to achieve the desired effect, leading Farian to sideline him vocally in the studio. Instead, Farrell's role was focused on dancing and creating the vibrant image that became so closely associated with Boney M. Take the Heat Off Me initially received a lukewarm response commercially, which left the group in a precarious position. However, Boney M's path to success was paved by their relentless touring schedule. They performed in discos, clubs, and even at country fairs, building a grassroots following through sheer persistence and high-energy performances, These live appearances allowed the group to showcase their unique style and choreography, setting them apart in the crowded disco scene of the mid-70s. Their commitment to live performances, despite the modest reception of their album, laid the groundwork for what would become a breakthrough moment. The turning point for Boney M came at the end of the summer of 1976, when they were invited by West German television producer Michael Mike Leckebusch to appear on his popular music show, Musikladen. This appearance was crucial because Musikladen was one of the most influential platforms for music acts in West Germany at the time. On September 18, 1976, Boney M took the stage for a late-night performance, presenting their single, Daddy Cool. The group's daring and flamboyant stage costumes, combined with their energetic choreography and catchy tune, created an immediate sensation. The performance left a lasting impression on the audience, and within days, Daddy Cool skyrocketed to the #1 spot on the West German charts. The success of Daddy Cool was nothing short of transformative for Boney M. The single's infectious beat, catchy lyrics, and distinctive blend of disco, funk, and reggae elements resonated with listeners across Europe. The track quickly became a chart-topping hit not only in West Germany, but also in several other countries, including Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, Spain, France, and Austria. The massive success of the single propelled sales of Take the Heat Off Me, turning what had initially been a modestly received album into a major commercial hit. Following the success of Daddy Cool, Boney M released a second single from the album, Sunny, a cover of Bobby Hebb's 1966 hit. Once again, the group struck gold. Sunny became their second consecutive #1 hit in multiple countries, reinforcing their presence on the European music scene. The song showcased the vocal talents of Liz Mitchell and Marsha Barrett while retaining the signature Boney M sound, characterized by Farian's polished production techniques. Sunny not only achieved widespread success in Europe, but also solidified Boney M's standing in the UK, one of the group's most important markets. Both Daddy Cool and Sunny became top 10 hits in the UK, further expanding the group's international appeal. The success of Take the Heat Off Me and its accompanying singles marked the beginning of Boney M's journey to becoming one of the most recognizable and successful disco acts of the late 70s. In 1977, Boney M solidified their place in the disco world with the release of their second album, Love for Sale. This album featured the hit singles Ma Baker and Belfast, both of which became significant chart successes across Europe. Ma Baker, with its catchy chorus and distinct beat, quickly became one of the group's signature tracks, combining the storytelling style that was becoming characteristic of Boney M with a mix of disco, funk, and pop elements. Belfast, while lesser known globally, was a notable hit in Europe, and its inclusion on the album showcased the group's ability to blend various musical influences into a unified sound. The release of Love for Sale also marked the group's first major concert tour, supported by a live band known as the Black Beauty Circus. The band was named in homage to Maisie Williams' first musical venture, Black Beautiful People, and their involvement added a richer, more dynamic element to Boney M's live performances. The combination of their stage presence, intricate choreography, and the live backing of the Black Beauty Circus elevated their concerts beyond the standard disco acts of the time, offering audiences a fully immersive musical experience. The album itself was well received, eventually earning a gold certification in the UK, a testament to its enduring popularity. The singles from Love for Sale performed exceptionally well in the charts. Both Ma Baker and Belfast reached #1 in West Germany, further cementing Boney M's dominance in the European music market. In the UK, both tracks broke into the top 10, expanding the group's fan base and building anticipation for their future projects. However, it was in 1978 that Boney M truly reached the pinnacle of their success, both commercially and creatively. The year 1978 is often regarded as Boney M's most successful period. During this time, they released the double A-sided single Rivers of Babylon, Brown Girl in the Ring, which became a massive hit across Europe. Rivers of Babylon, a reggae-infused cover of a Rastafarian spiritual song originally by the Melodians, resonated with audiences for its message of resilience and freedom, while also boasting a catchy melody that was perfect for the disco era. Brown Girl in the Ring, a playful and vibrant track rooted in Caribbean children's folk songs, complemented Rivers of Babylon and gave the single widespread appeal across various demographics. The double A side single dominated the charts in several countries, reaching #1 in multiple regions and becoming one of the best-selling singles of all time in the UK. It was reported that in the UK alone, the single sold over 2 million copies, making it a landmark achievement for Boney M. The song also broke through in the United States, where Rivers of Babylon peaked at number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it the group's most successful single in the American market. The global success of this single was a defining moment in Boney M's career, establishing them as international superstars. Building on this momentum, Boney M released their third studio album, Night Flight to Venus, which became their biggest selling album. The album continued the group's trend of mixing disco, pop, reggae, and funk into a distinctive sound that appealed to a broad audience. Night Flight to Venus featured some of Boney M's most iconic tracks, including Rasputin and Painter Man. Rasputin, a lively and historically themed song, told the story of the infamous Russian mystic Grigory Rasputin, blending elements of folklore with a danceable rhythm. The song's infectious beat, combined with its quirky lyrics, made it an instant hit, particularly in Europe, where it reached the top of the charts in several countries. Painter Man, originally by The Creation, was another hit single from the album, showcasing Boney M's knack for reinterpreting songs from different genres and making them their own. The success of Night Flight to Venus cemented Boney M's place as one of the leading disco acts of the late 70s. The album's blend of upbeat, dance-ready tracks with creative storytelling and historical references was a winning formula that resonated across diverse markets. As 1978 came to a close, Boney M had achieved a level of success that few disco groups could rival. Their music was omnipresent on dance floors, radio stations, and television screens across the globe. The biggest hoax. Behind the glittering success of Boney M lies one of the most notorious examples of the manufactured nature of disco music during the 70s. While Boney M achieved fame for their catchy hits, charismatic performances, and energetic presence, the reality behind their music was far less authentic than it appeared. The group's sound was largely the creation of German producer Frank Farian, who not only wrote and produced the majority of their songs, but also secretly performed the male vocal parts on their records. Though it was never a closely guarded secret that Bobby Farrell, the group's flamboyant frontman, didn't sing on the studio recordings, the full extent of the deception became public knowledge in 1978. As Boney M rose to international stardom, Frank Farian revealed in an interview with the German teen magazine Bravo that Maisie Williams, one of the group's original members, did not sing on their records either. Farian candidly admitted that he felt Williams' voice was not suited for the group's sound, stating that it simply did not match. The polished, studio-enhanced vocals needed to produce the music that had become synonymous with Boney M. This confession, although surprising, was largely met with indifference at the time, as such practices had become relatively common in the disco genre. Unlike the uproar that would later ensue in the late 80s when Farian employed similar tactics with Milli Vanilli, the revelation did little to tarnish Boney M's reputation or success. In reality, only two of Boney M's official members, Liz Mitchell and Marcia Barrett, contributed their voices to the group's studio recordings. Frank Farian himself provided the deep male vocals that were attributed to Bobby Farrell. Despite this, all four members, Farrell, Williams, Mitchell, and Barrett, were essential to the group's live performances. On stage, they delivered the full spectacle expected of a disco act with their elaborate costumes, synchronized dance routines, and engaging showmanship. Although Farrell and Williams didn't sing on the recordings, they did perform live vocals at concerts, supported by additional backing vocalists who bolstered the group's sound and compensated for any vocal weaknesses. This arrangement allowed Boney M to maintain the illusion of a cohesive musical group while capitalizing on the strengths of its most capable vocalists. The presence of Mitchell and Barrett ensured that the live performances stayed faithful to the recorded sound, while Farrell and Williams added visual flair and contributed to the overall entertainment factor that made Boney M such a compelling live act. Farian's control over the group extended beyond just the vocal arrangements. He was the architect behind their image, choreography, and musical direction, ensuring that Boney M delivered consistent hits that would resonate with audiences around the world. This tight level of control allowed him to craft a sound that was commercially viable and perfectly suited to the demands of the late 70s music scene. The formula worked so well that Boney M went on to achieve record-breaking sales and iconic status, even as the true nature of their recordings became more widely known. The group changes. By the late 80s, Boney M, once at the peak of disco fame, began experiencing significant changes that would ultimately lead to the group's decline. Bobby Farrell, the group's charismatic male dancer and frontman, left due to ongoing issues with Frank Farian, the producer who had been the mastermind behind Boney M's sound and image. Farrell's departure came at a critical time for the group as they were recording their fifth album, Boonoo Noo Noos, which had originally been scheduled for release in late 1980. However, the recording sessions dragged on well into 1981, reflecting both internal tensions and a sense of creative exhaustion. When Boonoo Noo Noos was finally released toward the end of 1981, the absence of Farrell, coupled with the group's inability to effectively promote the album without him, led to a significant commercial downturn. Although the album still performed well in continental Europe, its failure to break into the UK Top 100 after Boney M's string of 3 consecutive #1 albums was a major setback. The loss of momentum highlighted how integral the original lineup had been to the group's success. The combination of Farrell's flamboyant stage presence, Liz Mitchell's and Marsha Barrett's distinctive vocals, and Farian's expert production had created a winning formula that began to unravel with Farrell's exit. In 1982, Reggie Saibo was brought in as Farrell's replacement, marking a new chapter for Boney M. Saibo, a Ghanaian-born entertainer, which was intended to revitalize the group's image and sound, but the results were disappointing. The singles, The Carnival Is Over, and Jumbo, released shortly after Saibo joined, failed to make a significant impact on the charts. The group's 7th album, 10,000 Light Years, released in 1984, was another commercial low point. While it peaked at number 23 on the German album charts, it was a far cry from the chart-topping success the group had enjoyed just a few years earlier. The album's science fiction-inspired theme and departure from the catchy disco beats that had made them famous did little to reignite their popularity. By 1985, it became increasingly clear that Farian was losing interest in Boney M. The disco era had ended, and the group's style no longer aligned with the musical trends of the mid-80s. Their 8th and final studio album, I Dance, released in 1985, was widely regarded as uninspired and disappointing. Critics and fans alike noted the lack of the vibrant energy that had once defined Boney M's music. The album's lackluster reception underscored the fact that the magic that had once captivated audiences worldwide was fading. The singles released from the album, including Ma Chérie, Amour, and Young, Free, and Single, failed to resonate, with the latter peaking at only number 48 on the charts, a sharp decline from their former glory. In early 1986, Boney M celebrated their 10th anniversary, but the celebration was bittersweet. The group had gone from being one of the biggest names in disco to a shadow of its former self. After the disappointing performance of Young, Free, and Single, the decision was made to disband the group officially. The disbandment marked the end of an era not just for Boney M, but for the disco genre as a whole, which had been in decline since the early 80s. Following their disbandment in 1986, Boney M transitioned into a fragmented existence, with various members splintering off into different versions of the group, some with the cooperation of Frank Farian and others independently. The appeal of the Boney M brand remained strong, and members saw opportunities to continue performing under the group's name, albeit in configurations that often bore little resemblance to the original lineup. One notable version of the group began touring in the first half of 1987, featuring Marilyn Charbai, also known as Marilyn Carrillo, who stepped in to replace Liz Mitchell. Mitchell, who had been the voice behind many of Boney M's biggest hits, returned later that year for the second leg of the tour. By this time, Marcia Barrett, another crucial member of the original quartet, decided to leave the group. This period marked a significant shift as the original lineup continued to splinter. Barrett's departure, along with the intermittent participation of Mitchell, created a void that altered the group's chemistry and sound. Meanwhile, Bobby Farrell, who had been a key visual figure in Boney M, sought to carve out his path. He attempted to arrange a deal for a new Boney M album to be recorded without Frank Farian's involvement, aiming to reclaim some artistic control. The plan was to produce the album in Belgium, which could have marked a significant departure from the original Boney M sound. However, Farrell's unreliability became a major obstacle. He failed to show up for both the recording sessions and the subsequent tour. This left the project in disarray, ultimately leading to the material being rebranded and released as Liz Mitchell's debut solo album, No One Will Force You. This outcome highlighted the complex dynamics within the group and the tensions that had arisen from years of Farian's tight control over Boney M's sound and image. Despite these challenges, Liz Mitchell and Maisie Williams forged ahead, determined to keep the Boney M legacy alive. Between 1987 and 1988, they embarked on a tour, with new members Kalena Duncan and Ron Gale stepping in as replacements for Barrett and Farrell. This version of the group was more of a reimagining than a continuation, reflecting how the brand had evolved beyond the core quartet that originally captured global attention. As time went on, more personnel changes followed, with Carol Gray replacing Duncan and Kurt DeDuran taking over from Gale. These revolving door lineups underscored the increasingly fluid nature of the Boney M identity during the late 80s, when the group became more of a concept than a consistent ensemble. In October 1988, the original Boney M lineup briefly reunited for the album Greatest Hits of All Times, Remix, 88. This project marked a nostalgic return to the group's roots, but was fraught with internal tensions. The absence of their longtime producer Frank Farian, who had been instrumental in crafting Boney M's signature sound, created a void that the group struggled to fill. As a result, the collaborative spirit of the reunion was marred by disputes among the members, leading to a strained atmosphere. The tensions within the group came to a head in the spring of 1989, when Liz Mitchell, a central figure in Boney M's success, left the group. Her departure was a significant blow, as Mitchell had been a key voice in many of Boney M's most famous hits. She was replaced by Madeline Davis, a move that further altered the group's dynamic and signaled the beginning of a period of instability for Boney M. During this time, Mitchell was also focused on promoting her solo album, which contributed to her decision to leave Boney M. The group's activities continued, however, and they recorded a new single, Everybody Wants to Dance Like Josephine Baker, a tribute to the famed American entertainer. This single was produced and released without Farian's knowledge or approval, which led to a legal confrontation. Farian, who had retained control over the Boney M name, threatened legal action against the group for using the name without his authorization. The pressure from Farian resulted in the withdrawal of the single, demonstrating the ongoing influence he wielded over the Boney M brand, despite his non-involvement in the project. In response to the legal threats and the complications with the group's branding, Farian quickly moved to assert his dominance. He released an album titled Stories under the Boney M name, featuring a new lineup that included Liz Mitchell, who had returned to the fold alongside Reggie Tsaibo and two new members, Sharon Stevens and Patty Onoyoenjo. The album Stories was an attempt by Farian to re-establish Boney M's presence in the music market, and it achieved a modest commercial success, peaking at number 11 in the Swiss charts. However, it failed to capture the same widespread acclaim that the group's earlier work had enjoyed. Additionally, Farian released a second remix album, Greatest Hits of All Times Remix, 89 Volume 2. This album aimed to capitalize on the group's classic hits through updated remixes, but did not perform well commercially. It reflected the waning interest in Boney M's music and the difficulties faced in recapturing the group's past glory. The new lineups. By 1990, Liz Mitchell was actively touring with her version of Boney M, a lineup that was officially supported by Frank Farian, the group's original producer. This arrangement was the result of a significant legal development. A court ruling had established that all 4 original Boney M members had the right to perform their versions of the Boney M shows. This ruling allowed each member to capitalize on the group's legacy, even as they navigated their musical paths separately. Liz Mitchell's version of Boney M was the only one to receive Farian's official endorsement, a testament to her enduring connection to the group's classic sound. Mitchell's tours during this period continued to celebrate the iconic hits that had made Boney M famous, though they were marked by the challenges of maintaining the group's popularity without the original lineup's cohesion. In parallel, Bobby Farrell, another key figure in Boney M, pursued a solo career that included re-recordings of Boney M's greatest hits. Farrell's solo albums provided fans with new interpretations of the classics, although these versions were not without their controversies, given Farrell's history with the group and the legal battles over the use of the Boney M name. In May 2007, Farrell's version of Boney M performed at a concert at the Amphi in Ra'anana, Israel. This performance showed his continued relevance in the music scene despite the group's fragmented history. Maisie Williams also sought to maintain her connection to the Boney M legacy through her solo work. She released her first solo album in 2006, which featured her versions of Boney M classics, including a new single rendition of Sunny. Williams' version of Daddy Cool, released in collaboration with Mellow M in 2007, achieved notable success, reaching the #1 spot on the Latvian charts. This success demonstrated Williams' ability to engage with the Boney M brand independently and find new audiences for their music. Marsha Barrett, another original member, also ventured into a solo career, releasing 2 solo albums. A third album was scheduled for release in 2010, reflecting her ongoing commitment to music and her connection to Boney M's legacy. Barrett's solo work provided her with a platform to showcase her vocal talents and continue her musical career beyond her time with the group. In June 2014, Maisie Williams took her lineup of Boney M on a tour of Australia, marking a significant chapter in the group's evolving legacy. This tour was part of a broader effort to keep the Boney M name active and to connect with fans around the world. The tour in Australia was followed by performances at notable music festivals in the UK, including Guildfest in Guildford on July 20th, 2014, and the Watch It Live Music Festival on August 24th, 2014. These appearances provided an opportunity for Williams' version of Boney M to engage with audiences and celebrate the group's enduring popularity. In March 2015, Frank Farian, the original producer of Boney M, released Diamonds, a comprehensive 3-CD box set celebrating the 40th anniversary of the group. This release was a significant event for fans, as it included remastered versions of the original hit singles, some previously unreleased tracks, and a remixed disc. The box set also featured a new digital single, Song of Joy, with Liz Mitchell, who was an integral part of Boney M's classic lineup. Additionally, a major DVD set was released alongside the box set, providing visual content that complemented the audio celebrations of Boney M's legacy. The group's activities continued into February 2017, when they performed at the closing ceremony of the Patras Carnival in Patras, Greece. This performance was a notable event, showcasing Boney M's continued appeal and ability to captivate audiences internationally. The appearance at such a prominent event underscored the group's lasting influence and their ability to engage with diverse audiences.
Daddy Cool. Daddy Cool.
At the end of 2017, Boney M released a new album, World Music for Christmas, under the name Boney M and Friends. This album included contributions from Liz Mitchell, who sang on 3 of the songs. The release featured the single and video for Like Diamonds in the Sky, which was based on the traditional song El Condor Pasa. This new material, along with the album, demonstrated the group's ongoing efforts to innovate and remain relevant while honoring their musical heritage. In 2021, Boney M's legacy experienced a revival with a contemporary twist when a remix of the iconic track Rasputin was released. This new version, created by house music producer and Kiss FM DJ Kevin Christie under the alias Majestic, was released by Sony Music's Ministry of Sound label. The remix, credited to Majestic and Boney M, achieved notable success, reaching number 11 on the UK singles chart. The accompanying music video featured Bimini Bon Boulash from RuPaul's Drag Race UK, adding a modern, vibrant flair to the classic hit and bridging the gap between Boney M's disco roots and current pop culture. In December 2021, Liz Mitchell, one of the original members of Boney M, contributed to Channel 5's music show, Britain's Biggest 70s Hits. This special program celebrated the music of the 70s, featuring other artists from the era such as Dean Friedman and Barry Blue, alongside radio presenters like David Hamilton. Mitchell's participation highlighted her ongoing relevance and connection to the music of that decade, reinforcing the enduring impact of Boney M's contributions to pop and dance music. The group's revival continued into August 2023, when Boney M, led by Liz Mitchell, embarked on a multi-city tour across the United States. This tour, organized by the Los Angeles-based Promoters LA Concert Group, featured Boney M performing alongside other popular acts from the 80s and 90s, including Samantha Fox and Bad Boys Blue. The tour included stops in major cities such as Boston, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York City, and San Jose, showcasing Boney M's continued appeal and their ability to draw large crowds in diverse locations. The tour not only celebrated the group's classic hits, but also demonstrated their enduring popularity and the lasting connection they maintain with audiences across different generations. Bobby Farrell, the charismatic performer, known for his role in Boney M, passed away on December 30th, 2010, at the age of 61. His death was attributed to heart failure, a condition that had been exacerbated by breathing problems he had reported experiencing after a performance the evening before. Farrell's passing was a significant loss to the music world, particularly to fans of Boney M, as he was an integral part of the group's dynamic presence and performances. Farrell had made Amsterdam his home until his death, reflecting the international nature of his career and life. His final performance took place in St. Petersburg, Russia, a city steeped in historical significance related to the song Rasputin, which became one of Boney M's most famous hits. Ironically, Farrell died in a hotel room in St. Petersburg, a location closely tied to the song's subject, Grigory Rasputin, who was famously assassinated there. His death occurred exactly 94 years after Rasputin's demise, adding a poignant layer of historical connection to his passing. Farrell's contributions to Boney M were crucial, particularly in bringing a unique energy to their live performances. Despite the controversy surrounding the group's recordings and the roles of its members, Farrell's stage presence and charisma were undeniable. His departure marked the end of an era for Boney M, which had already seen various changes and challenges over the years. 14 years later, in 2024, the group's producer and main founder, Frank Farian, also passed away. Farian's death marked the end of a significant chapter in the history of Boney M, closing a circle that began with his creation of the group and its subsequent success. Farian was instrumental in shaping the sound and success of Boney M, and his passing was felt deeply within the music industry and among fans of the group's influential disco era. Both Farrell and Farian were key figures in Boney M's rise to fame, and their deaths underscored the end of an important era in disco and pop music history. Their legacies continue through the enduring popularity of Boney M's music and the impact they made on the global music scene. What do you think of Boney M's group? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you like this video? Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more entertaining videos. And do not forget to explore our other videos for more interesting stories and insights.